Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for being here today. I am very interested in hearing how Congress can play an increased role in foreign policy by regularly authorizing State Department functions so that its mission and its structure are clear. Back in February, at a hearing held by this committee, I discussed with former Representative Ted Yoho how important it is to have bipartisan consistency and strategy in U.S. foreign policy. And I believe that it's important that America is a key leader in health innovation, and I believe that it's an important foreign policy tool that the State Department should use to America's benefit. A key program that I want to focus on today is PEPFAR. Mr. Jeffrey and Mr. Hale, as Congress and this committee reauthorizes the State Department, what specific authorities or institutional reforms should we include to ensure that PEPFAR's mission of global HIV/AIDS epidemic control continues? And additionally, how can we use the authorizing legislation to strengthen PEPFAR's effectiveness within the State Department, as well as to align it with larger U.S. foreign policy objectives?
I was in the National Security Council when we started PEPFAR back almost 20 years ago, and it's one of the proudest things we've done. The first point is it should continue. The second point is that it is not only of major humanitarian success, but also for global health systems' ability to react to epidemics and such. It is really, really effective as well. I'm not so sure how it feeds into soft power, hard power, but that's not the point. It should be supported by Congress, if necessary, by specific legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Hale.
Yes, I agree with that. I think it's perhaps most useful to cast it in terms of protecting our nation. You know, better to fight Ebola in Uganda than in Milwaukee.
So, following up on that, Mr. Hale, from your experience, how can we improve PEPFAR's effectiveness as its functions are consolidated, and what can Congress do to ensure that the department is able to manage PEPFAR's large operational footprint?
Yeah, I'm not an expert on PEPFAR, so I can't give a detailed answer. I would want to make sure that as it's transitioned to the State Department, that the State Department is set up to manage it, and that may mean it doesn't look very different than what it looks like today. And Jim touched on a very important point about all this, which is, when I became Undersecretary, I was surprised to see the amount of assistance going to African countries. And when you dig down into it, you see that for the most part, it's about building health infrastructures that do not exist. And without that, it's not just shots in the arm. You have to build a structure that's going to be durable to promote these health strategies.
Okay. So given PEPFAR's track record as one of the most successful U.S. foreign aid projects, Mr. Hale and Mr. Jeffrey, what lessons from PEPFAR's operational model should Congress seek to preserve as foreign assistance programs are restructured within the State Department?
It was set up in a quite focused, targeted, administratively lean way with very specific goals that were concrete and understandable, and a way to measure success, among other things, by the number of people whose lives were saved and people who did not succumb to HIV. So I think those are the guidelines. Again, totally aside from the humanitarian side of it, from the administrative side of it, I think it was a very effective program, and I hope that with all of this reorganization, we find a way to continue that program and at the same level of competence.
I concur.
Okay. And so given PEPFAR's role in strengthening diplomatic partnerships and stabilizing fragile states, Mr. Jeffrey and Mr. Hale, how should Congress seek to accomplish PEPFAR's mission while also streamlining State Department activities?
Again, ensure, whatever verb we use, that the State Department doesn't neglect this as they move it around. But the one thing I would raise, not an objection to, but a question to, is We can't oversell these things. This program deserves to be continued for its humanitarian and, as Dave and I both mentioned, protecting of Americans from epidemics abroad. Whether it buys us all of that much support in these countries, whether it feeds into our larger foreign policy, I'm not so sure there's a lot of evidence to that. It doesn't matter. It's worthwhile in and of itself, but we shouldn't oversell a lot of these things as buying us a seat at the table that we otherwise wouldn't get.
I think that's right.
Thank you. I yield back.